Hello there. How are you? It's me, Wally. It's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. Hey, we do this on Wednesdays, most every Wednesdays, not when it snows, not when it's a national holiday, which usually doesn't occur on a Wednesday, not when it's Thanksgiving, which never happens on a Wednesday. But most of the time we do this, unless I'm not in the mood to do it. But most of the time I am, just so you know. So it's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. Hey, how are you, everybody? It is Weslie VanVoorhis. Let's get the disclaimer in here, the whole legal thing out of the way. Licensed associate real estate broker for EXIT Realty Front Center. We're right here on Upper Front Street in Binghamton. And we are at 1163 Front Street, Binghamton, suite number 2. So, hey, Marty, thanks for joining us. Marty's the first one to jump on in here. We do this. Here's the deal. Here's the rules. There really aren't any rules. You're going to be able to write a comment down in the comment bar just below me. And if we can get through with this show, we'll answer your questions while we're here. We got lots of topics we're going to get through today. If you have any questions regarding these or any other things that we're talking about today, please make sure that you write them down in the comment bar. If you have any problem hearing me or whatever, please write a note and I'll try to fix things as we go here. So we're going to be talking about a few different things here today. Number one, though, spring market. So what's happening? People have asked me when I go out and they see me, because I commonly wear, my realtor kind of stuff out. So what's the market doing right now? And you get that question a lot. What's the market doing? At different times of the year, it does different things, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But if you're talking about if you're buying or selling a home, right now the spring market's it's been heating up a bit. Here's what happens. When you get a little bit of nice warm weather, which is probably going to be going away later on today, just so you know. And today's date, by the way, is February 12th, 2020. So by 5 o'clock, it may change this afternoon. So anyway, so what's been happening? When you get a little bit of a nice weather, and what we mean by nice weather, when it comes February, anything that's a little bit above freezing is nice weather. And as soon as you get some sunshine and you get a little bit of nice weather, the phones really start to ring. Because people got cabin fever. They want to get out and they want to look at houses. So what does that mean for you? Two things. If you're a buyer, you're probably one of those people picking up the phone and calling because you've been shut in for a long time. Even though the winter hasn't been all that bad yet, you still want to get on out and you actually want to kick some tires and go and see if you can find your next new house. What does that mean, though, if you're the seller? If you've decided maybe, I want to put my house on the market. We talk about this just about every week, weekend and weekend. And in case you missed it, when's the best time to sell your house? The best time to sell your house or put your house on the market is when you decide that it is time to put your house on the market. It doesn't matter, winter, spring, summer, or fall. We've got strategies. Yours truly has strategies for being able to get your house marketed and getting it sold, no matter what the season is. Sometimes it's a little more difficult, but right now is the prime time to do so. So what do people typically say? That we are going to put our house on the market in the spring. When exactly is spring? Is that next week when it actually officially, is it next week? March something maybe? When it officially actually starts becoming spring because of the calendar? No, springtime is a relative thing. To me, it's whenever the weather starts getting a little bit nicer. So when people typically put their house on the market in the springtime, it's mid-April. When's the best time to market your house? If you decide you want to sell, get it on now. Get your house listed now, or at least talk to somebody about getting it listed, okay? So let's not follow and be with the rest of the pack. Let's be a leader and be in front of the curve, because come April 15th or somewhere in there, your competition is going to get this big. Right now it's this big because we have a shortage of houses out there, right? So also the other thing is, if you bought your house in the last 3 years, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, maybe you've thought to yourself, I wonder what my house is worth now. I wonder if maybe we can get more money out of my house. Now, has the market appreciated? Maybe I could sell my house and trade up, or maybe I can downsize, pocket a little bit more money in my pants pocket and be able to head off to Florida or South Padre Island or whatever. You can do so by giving me or other real estate professional, whoever you wanted to deal with, a call and say, hey, let's go and see if we can work out the numbers and price my house. Maybe worth it for you to take a look at that, okay? It's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. We do this pretty much as we talked about already, just about every Wednesday. So what's the interest rate today? What is the current interest rate today? Right now, the current interest rate is 3.5% as per Aaron Thomas Allen at Elmira Savings Bank. Now, I'm going to tell you, if you're watching this tomorrow or if you're watching this next week and it's not on the 12th of February 2020, that number will probably change a bit. Could, maybe not. So is it a good time to buy? Sure is. Why is it a good time to sell if the interest rate's 3.5%? Because people are looking to buy homes when they don't have to pay a lot of money in interest. That's why. All right. So listen, we got a lot to get through today. Let me go over here and say, hey, Peggy Mullins, are you still in South Carolina, joining us from down there in South Carolina? And Anita, Laura, thanks for joining us. Lou, Paul Dunlap, and Marcia, and Steve. Steve, how's things going up there in Massachusetts? Pretty good? Also, Otis and Tina, thanks for joining us all here today on Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. So here's what we're going to talk about today. How to get that updated house where one doesn't exist. Okay, that's one thing. A little communication. We're going to talk about that. We're going to communicate about communicating, just so you know. And what's it like to become a realtor? How many times do I get asked that question, or any realtor? So what's it like being a realtor? I've always thought about becoming a realtor. Let me just say, stop. We don't need anybody else trying to sell houses. That's my job. But we will talk about it a little bit coming up. All right. So you watch shows like Flipping Houses, right? You got that show with Chip and Joanna Gaines. And they go in and they find a house that is however priced, $20,000. And they go and they put a $500,000 rehab budget into it. And there you go. Hey, would you like to see your fixer-upper? And they pull apart the partition or the canvas, right? So that's nice because they know people with a lot of money in their pocket, right? No, maybe not, right? So how do you do that same thing? People come in all the time, and we have a lot of old housing stock in the Greater Binghamton area. And I think you'd agree. Not a whole lot of new homes that have been built in the last 15 or 20 years, right? So when you go into homes and they were built in 1950 something, 1960 something, 1940, 1930, got some 1800 houses out there. So you go into these houses and you go, wow, you know, it's got the right size. It's in the right neighborhood. It's really in the school district we want our kids to go to school in, but it just doesn't have the higher end countertops. And, you know, I think I'd like to have more open concept, but this isn't it. I can't find an open concept house to fit my bill. So how do you do that? How do you find one of those when it doesn't exist? You make one. You make your updated house. And how do you do that? I'm going to explain it to you, by the way. It's actually simple, and I don't know why more people don't do this, because quite honestly, if I knew about this back when I bought my house way back in the day, I would have certainly wanted to go this route, okay? So, hold on a second. I got to text somebody here something real quick. Somebody needs to get one of my houses. Boy, don't you hate this in the middle of a show and I have to do this thing because nobody can wait here a second. Here we go. Okay. Sorry. It's the joy of being a realtor. So how do you get one of these houses, right? And you see these things on TV. You see the rehab addict, that lady that's in, Chicago. I'm not saying go that route, but you see other things. So the Property Brothers, they bring people through, oh, we want a house with 5 acres and we need it to have updated countertops and we need it to have 4 to 5 bedrooms. We have to have a southern view on an ocean, blah, blah, blah. And okay, well, my budget is $600,000. This ain't you or me. And then they go and show them the house and it's like 1.5 million. How do we get from there to there? Okay. Our housing stock here is a lot less expensive than you're going to find in California. So bear with me. This is how you do it. And it's really simple. You find the house that has got good bones. You find a house that doesn't have a whole lot of stuff wrong with it, right? My house would be a perfect example. It's turnkey. I could move right in. And maybe not that. Maybe you could get a house that's, only $20 or $25 or $30,000. Foreclosure. It has a good bone structure. Maybe the pipes all burst. Maybe there's something catastrophically not good with that house. As long as the foundation, the roof, all that stuff is good. Here's how you do it. You go and you get yourself approved for a rehab loan, or it's also called a 203K FHA loan. Okay, I can walk you through all this stuff. There's 2 components to being able to do your fixer-upper the way they do on the Chip and Joanna Gaines show. So The first component is you go and you make the offer and you buy the house, right? That's all part of this whole loan deal. You got to tell your loan officer up front, and we got the people that can help you do that. Several banks that have this FHA or this 203K, this rehab loan. So it does take a little bit longer for you to get into the house, a little bit longer to get in and move in. Two components. First, you buy the house, or that one first component. The second thing is you have to have a bona fide contractor be able to go through the house and give estimates as to what you want. Do you want granite countertops? You want soapstone countertops? You want stainless steel appliances? You want a wall down? You want a wall up? You want things moved around? You want the basement finished? Maybe you have to put a new roof on. Maybe it's all worth it, because maybe it take just a little bit longer. Good things come to those who wait. I don't know why more people don't do these things. And the day that you go to move in there, maybe you've got the house that you wanted that didn't exist in that neighborhood, and it's already been updated. Maybe you plan on moving in 10 years. Guess what? You may have a house that will appreciate in value in a neighborhood that it's not, really appreciating that much. Okay? I mean, there's another component with this, by the way. The appraiser is going to have to come in and basically say, yeah, this is all going to be worth it as it would be completed. But really, seriously, think about that. You got houses that were brand new down, we'll say, Rogers Road area in Port Crane, or in certain areas of Endwell or Vestal or whatever. And you go, wow, this is a great house, except for it's not open concept, or except for I wanted hardwood floors down. This doesn't have hardwood floors. Or, boy, I'd like to have this house. It really looks great and the countertops are okay, but maybe I needed the appliances updated. You can get all of this in your house if you go to the bank and say, hey, you know what? This is a great house with the exception of it needs to be updated. We're going to do that. We got a contractor. We know somebody, and it's got to be a bona fide contractor. It can't be Uncle Fred, all right, who's used to working on tractors and does this on the side. It's got to be somebody who knows what they're doing. And you go to the bank and here's my plans. Here's what I want to do. And it doesn't have to be great plans. I mean, it needs to be done a right way and an estimate, just like a contractor would give you for doing any work on your house, right? And guess what? Maybe a couple of months after you buy the house and you close on it, you get to move into your new home. It's got hardwood floors where it didn't exist. It's got quartz countertops that weren't there before. It's got stainless steel appliances, new washer and dryer, got a finished family room. It's got all that stuff in there, and it wasn't there before. Landscaping, all that stuff done. Guess what? You've just now rehabbed a house just like they would on TV, and you didn't spend $675,000. I'm sure you probably could. But be careful, by the way, of the updates, because one thing the appraiser is going to look at is the neighborhood value as well. Here's the thing with Chip and Joanna Gaines homes, by the way, and I just read this off the internet, which means it has to be true because it's on the internet. They have a hard time selling their homes. Now, you think that all these people that you see on their shows are actually buying their homes? They're not. They're there. They're plants. Some of them are plants. So the average price per home in Waco, Texas is $200,000. The last house I saw them do come in at $675,000. Try to sell that to somebody who's living in Waco when the average price is $200,000. Don't overdo your rehab job for your neighborhood. All right. You want to know more about what goes on, local real estate news, and the houses we have for sale and all that kind of stuff, and open houses? WallyGetsItDone.com. That's my website. Please hit it up. You can contact me through there as well. It's kind of cool. All right. It's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. Let's see who else is on here today. Hey, Tina. My friend Tina from someplace in Virginia today. And Bobby and Jonathan. Hey, John. Thanks for joining us. How are you? He says, hi, Wally. Beaver Miller from high school. Hey, Beav. What's going on? Wally and the Beef. That could have been a great tag team on the whole football field right there, but it wasn't. And Brandon and Karen, thanks for joining us today. Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. If you got a question, don't forget, you can write it right down there in the comment area. So here's another thing I want to get to. I'm going to touch on this briefly because this is a big thing. Communication needs to be going on continuously between you and your realtor. Whether you're buying a house, whether you're selling a house, I repeat, don't leave it all up to your realtor to make sure that the communicating is going on. Communications is a two-way street. Rabbit ears. Two-way street, right? So if you need to know something, or if something's bothering you, you need to pick up the phone, or can do it the way everybody else does these days. Use your thumbs. text your realtor, message them, whatever is your preferred method. Ask what's going on, ask what's happening, whatever. Listen, that we get busy. Sometimes we'll have 2 houses that we've got listed and 2 buyers we're working with. And sometimes we got 20 houses we got listed and 20 buyers we're working with, and things just get busier. So let's work this as a team. And I think whoever your realtor is that's working with you, either whether you're a buyer or a seller, that's got to be the key, communication. And if you're texting or you're emailing your real estate professional and they're not getting back to you, there's a problem there. You might want to call 911 because someone may need the paddles on them. Or perhaps maybe they're ignoring you. Whatever the case may be, make sure you try to do that communication thing and keep that open, all right? So there you go. Make sure you text Wally Sells to 85377. That's my mobile business card. Wally Sells, W-A-L-L-Y, Wally Sells to 85377. If you got that, you're going to be able to find local news. You're going to be able to find out the value of some homes in the area and all that kind of stuff. So here's a question as we round out the rest of this Facebook show on this Wednesday, the 20, what is today? No, the 12th. I almost said it was the 22nd. It's not even Valentine's Day yet. So, salesperson, what's it like to become a realtor in Greater Binghamton? How do you become a realtor? We have some new ones. So what's it like? Maybe you got a job and you decide, hey, this would be kind of a nice side income. Or maybe I'd like to change gears and go differently. And yes, I want to get full-fledged into it. Or maybe you just want more information to kind of make up your mind. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, you get paid a commission. You do not get paid a weekly salary. So you have to understand that. You got to be able to budget your money. I'm going to come right out front and tell you, and there are some fees up front because you got to take the salesperson's class, because that's how you start out. You don't start out as an associate real estate broker. I did. You start out as a real estate salesperson, but you've got to pass the 75-hour class. You can do it online, or you can do it in person. I did mine online. I should have done it in person. I would have liked to have done it that way because I think you learn a lot better or a lot quicker, at least for me anyway. So you can take the salesperson class. You got to pass that class. You got to pass the test at the end. Okay, that costs you some money. You can look it up, find the cheapest value that's still New York State certified. It's the New York State salesperson class, real estate class, by the way, just so you know. What else? You have to be sponsored by a local broker. You also have to join the local board of realtors, and you also got to join the National Association of Realtors. There's a little fee that goes along with everything like this, okay? So I forgot what the first year. It's like $1,600 or $1,800. I can send you. Don't let it scare you because you don't have to pay it all at the same time, just so you know. So what do you do then? So you pass the salesperson's class, and you pass the New York State licensing class, right? You decide to yourself, okay, what? Because you got to have your license with somebody. What brokerage? Who do you decide to go with? There's a lot of good firms in the area that you could go to work with, big and small. Depends on what you like. If you like a lot of action, if you like a lot of camaraderie, if you like to have, the party kind of thing, that may be a place that you may go if they have some of that going on. What about commissions? I mean, that's certainly a big thing. Really, you got fees you got to pay out, not only every year or twice a year to become a realtor and keep your dues and all that kind of stuff, but what kind of fees do you have to pay out to the brokerage? What kind of fees do they have there? Do you have to pay for copies? Do you not pay for copies? At the end of the day, it really matters what's in your pocket. So what are you netting at the end of the day? What's the commission split? How much money are you going to get? Typically, you're going to be spending or splitting some of that money with your broker, your sponsoring broker. They have a large footprint in being able to buy signs or not buy signs. You have to figure out which one is right for you. And I'm not trying to get myself in trouble here. It's just really, there are a lot of really good firms in the area, and there's a lot of really good realtors in the area. So it depends on what you like. Who do you know? Who's in your neighborhood? Ask questions. Find out what you think is the best one for you. When you finally get down to it, it's all about the feel, and it's all about the vibe, and it's all about how much money you're putting in your pocket, because this is really kind of why you're doing it. You're not doing it for the goodness of humanity. I mean, you are helping people out to become a realtor, but you're also helping yourself out at the end of the day too, right? So if you want to know a little bit more about it, and I'd be happy to sit down and have coffee with you at any time. Whoever decides they may want to do this, feel me out. That's good. And we'll send you off and let you decide on your own on what you want to do or where you want to go. But for me, you know what? I did this. I started dipping my toe in the water back in the early 90s, I think it was, because I was involved with a real estate show on the radio. That's how I kind of got involved with it. I had always said, geez, I'd like to know more about real estate. And I was on the show with my old broker, Mike Decker from Decker Realty. And it took me quite a few years before I finally said, you know what? I'm finally just going to do it. I'm going to stop procrastinating. And I asked the questions that needed to be asked. And those are the answers I got, or the answers I just passed along to you, is that it's a great career, and I thoroughly enjoy helping people out. I sell, a few houses every year. I help people with that. We just had a closing yesterday. It's a great feeling to have that happen. But it is work. And you know what? If you think you got the aptitude for it, do me a favor. You can hit me up. You can DM me right here, PM me on Facebook, send me a text or whatever, and we'll talk about it. I'd be happy to sit down and have some coffee with you and chat about it. Listen, want to let you get back to this again. The interest rate as of today, on the 12th of February, Elmira Savings Bank gave it to me. It's 3.5%. If you're looking to buy a home, or you think maybe you might want to go out and say, I'm done paying rent, I want to do something, and I want to start building my own equity, you can give me a call, or you can text me at Wally Sells at 85377. That's Wally Sells at 85377. Or you can hit me up right here through Facebook. It's called Ask the Realtor Live at Lunch. It's me, Wally. We'll see you guys next week. Maybe.